Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Planet Bugle.
Really?
You
Really?
like the Daily Planet and
I
Daily
get
Bugle?
it. I get it.
Yeah.
But really?
You got a better name?
I love it. You come up with that on the fly. That was crazy.
It's the Bugle that announces things to the planet.
Yeah.
And that's us.
I got
We're
it.
reporting.
We're reporting.
I'm Morgan,
And I'm Kitty.
and today we are doing a review of Batman The Long Halloween Part 1, which is a DC animated movie.
Mhm.
Before we go into this, I like to do a general sort of spoiler-free review, just about like, was the acting good, was the animation good, stuff like that. But there will be spoilers after that.
Okay.
And also, we have not read the comic book that this is based off of,
No.
so we don't know how the story ends.
Yep.
We don't know the mystery.
I'm very intrigued and very annoyed that I have not been allowed to watch the second part yet.
We'll do part 2 soon.
Soon is not soon enough.
Oh, did you like part 1?
I did. I did like part 1, and I do not always like these animated movies.
Some of them are hit and miss.
Yeah, they can be real like B level movies, but this was really good.
Yeah, I thought just general niceties out of the way. The voice acting was good. Jensen Ackles, I stopped hearing him.
Huh?
He was just, oh, that's Batman.
Yeah,
That's Bruce Wayne.
Who did the Joker?
Troy Baker.
Yeah. And damn, like for a while there, we could not figure out if it was Mark Hamill or not, who has sort of like set the bar for the idea of what the Joker sounds like. Like Mark Hamill is the Joker for a lot of people. And for a while there, like Troy Baker he hit it so well that, that I couldn't tell if it was Mark Hamill or not. And I was impressed. He was a very, very good Joker.
I think he does the Joker in a video game.
Interesting.
So we could check that out later.
Sure.
Yeah, just in general, it's that it was good, solid. Definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
The animation I thought was interesting. Or I'll say the art design was good.
Mm-hmm.
The animation was a little stiff when they were just talking.
I agree with that.
It wasn't much like there was a scene where people were crying and no one was moving.
Yeah, it was a little weird.
But then the couple of fight scenes are very well animated and choreographed.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yes, very well done. Especially the really complex 5-minute one in the middle.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think this is much as you like spoiler free.
Yeah,
it's worth watching.
Yep. Absolutely.
So
it was a good hour and a half.
Yeah, it flew by.
Yeah.
So so at this point on, spoilers.
Yeah.
We don't know who the killer is yet.
Yeah, no. Are we doing a recap?
There is a crime family. Someone is killing members of this crime family on holidays.
Yeah. We don't know who.
Yeah. Starting on Halloween.
Mm-hmm. And one murder every holiday since Halloween.
Yeah, up through, I think, New Year's is the last one.
Yeah, New Year's Eve is where we end it.
And we also have Batman, Gordon, and Harvey Dent working to take down the Falcone. Was it the family?
Yep.
There was 2 of them, and I get them mixed up.
Yeah.
They're working to take down the Falcone family legally.
Sort of.
Yeah. By the books.
Yeah. Dent's trying to take him down by the books.
Yeah.
Batman, they know that Batman is working in the background, not quite by the books, to take him down. Definitely setting their warehouse on fire was not by the books.
Yeah. And Gordon's rule is you can bend the rules, but don't break the rules.
Yeah.
So.
So there is an edge now politically to the Batman movies. The idea of the cop who's bending the rules to catch bad guys. Especially the idea of a DA bending the rules to catch bad guys has sort of a sour flavor nowadays. Although they do set this like it's very difficult. It's always been difficult to pin down a timeline, or not timeline, a time period for Batman, because like the whole thing feels very modern, and like the guns look modern, and the like stuff that the tools that Batman uses are very modern. But then the cars look like they come out of the 1950s. You know, some of the dresses that people wear, so it's...
It definitely had the Batman animated series vibe to it.
Yeah, very much so.
As far as like the design of the city and the cars. Random thing about the police, but there was a moment that kind of stood out to me where Batman is interrogating a criminal in the streets.
Yeah.
And he has him down on the ground and his knee on the guy's back.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And like,
like not on his back, on his throat.
On his neck.
Yeah, on his neck. And
Batman's that's like, tell me where this guy is. Like, hey, maybe take your knee off my neck. Like,
oh, ow.
And Batman sort of gets his face like, okay. Yeah, right, fair. Like he realizes what he's doing.
I'm
not sure if that's just a line from a comic or that's an intentional reflection.
I mean, it came out in 2021.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it stood out.
Yeah, it did.
As far as like commentary that could be applied to the day, that was the thing that really stood out.
Yeah.
Outside of that, though, is a very good mystery.
Mm-hmm.
The killer leaves behind some sort of memento to mark
the holiday,
as well as a gun with a pacifier.
Not a baby bottle top.
Baby bottle top.
I kept calling it a pacifier, but that's not what it is.
Yeah, a baby bottle top used as a silencer,
which would not work, people. Just to be clear, that does not work. That's not how silencers work.
And they give you a couple different leads.
Yeah, we have a lot of suspects.
Yeah, one of them is the opposing crime family, but this is more, not sneaky, but this is more like a delicate type thing, where the other crime family will do a drive-by shooting in the middle of the day.
Yeah, mob families want you to know when that's the whole point, is like letting you know, yeah, we killed your second cousin or whatever, and it was in payback for you killing our enforcer or whatever. That's how the mob works in theory, or at least in in TV shows or whatever. Like you don't really do covert.
Yeah, you want the person to know because that's a show of power.
Yeah, like you don't do mystery murders on holidays. Like that's freaking weird.
Yeah, so their suspects also include Harvey Dent, although Batman and Gordon are actively avoiding that possibility.
Yeah.
Like they don't want to talk about it, they don't want to acknowledge it.
And then the Joker pops up as a possible suspect.
Because he escaped before the killing started.
Yep. And
that one's very clearly not the case.
Yeah. Not at first. Not until the end.
Well, yeah.
But at first, I mean, it looks like a Joker thing. For a minute. I mean, but it's subtler. Like the Joker doesn't shoot people. He poisons them. He makes them laugh themselves to death with nitrous oxide. He doesn't. This person's just. He's just executing people. No panache, as the Joker would say.
Why would the Doctor use a bottle top?
Yeah, freaking weird.
And at the end, they capture the Joker, and while he's in custody, another murder happens. And Batman has to fight with them. They escape, but you can see that it's clearly not the Joker.
Yeah, it's not the Joker. So we've cleared a couple of people, but we've added a couple of people to our lists. And we have not cleared Harvey Dent yet.
Have not cleared Harvey Dent. There is a theory we're working on. But granted, we have not read the book. We haven't seen part 2. So this is just a guess. But Harvey Dent has his, I don't know, it's a girlfriend, wife.
No, wife. Yeah, they mentioned that. They're married.
Yeah. She has some sort of trauma and some sort of background. They allude to being not good, but they don't actually go into details with it.
And then our last victim in the movie is the son of Falcone, who has throughout the movie been sort of abused by Falcone and like told he was weak and you're never gonna inherit the business and blah blah blah.
And shown that he went to some college, not Harvard, but
Oxford.
So he's intelligent.
Yeah, very intelligent. So he's Batman is actually accusing him, in the process of accusing him of being the murderer, when he is shot by the Holiday. But before he gets shot, he confesses that he was in love with a woman and that Falcone scared her away.
And terrible things happened to her.
Yeah, terrible things happened to her, and that he doesn't want to take over the family. All he wants is to have a wife and children. And
to marry whoever this woman was.
And then he gets shot. He falls overboard. His body gets
chopped up by a propeller blade.
Yeah, it was a little over the top, even for a Batman movie. Batman, of course, feels super guilty. He gets murdered right in front of him,
and as he was accusing him.
So, which is the end of the movie. I'm working on the theory that he has faked his death, and that he and Harvey Dent's wife are actually working together. That this is the woman he was in love with before. Falcone has done something that prevents her from having children, which has been mentioned multiple times up until now, which is why she's using the baby bottle top as a silencer. And he's destroying the family as revenge for what his family did to the woman he loved, and they're actually working together.
So you think he faked his own death?
I think he faked his death because he's the only one where there's no body to be found. Like, we see that last scene where they're burying a casket, but the body, there's nothing to bury. They even mention, like, they're not going to find enough.
They'll be fishing out bits of
him for weeks, kind of thing. And it didn't fit the other murders because every other time the victim was killed with no witnesses, and they left the gun and a symbol for the Holiday behind, and that didn't happen this time. He was murdered in front of people, no leaving the gun behind. No, so I think it was. I think it's faked.
Nice. So you think he's faked his own death to take the? Interesting. Because I was believing him at the end, and he said he wasn't doing this. And
so you think it might just be Harvey Dent's wife doing it, doing it on her own?
I think it's Harvey Dent's wife, and Harvey's trying to cover for her.
Ooh, that's an interesting twist.
Because they mentioned there's something that's not working out between them, and it's implied it's the relationship, but also could be something else. And he is. They made many not subtle references, like he's gonna be Two-Face, because he has a love-hate relationship with everything. He's of two minds about.
Yeah, oh my god, the foreshadowing! I swear.
Yeah, we know, but I'm wondering if that's part of what's driving that edge to him, is the fact that he knows his wife is out there doing this, and he's trying to do things the right way. Like, he wanted that the first guy that got killed, the first mafia member, was going to confess.
Yeah,
and
he was going to
be a big pivotal part in bringing the whole family down. Then he died.
Yeah. So I think Harvey's, that, in my opinion, what they've implied is that Harvey is already developing his split personality. That, like, he failed a psych eval to get a sidearm. He has a moment where he refers to himself in the third person. Don't worry,
Harvey's fine.
Yeah, Harvey's fine. I think he's already got that split personality, and that losing his wife is going to push him. Poof. I also like that we have an idea of where we are. Like, we've seen Barbara Gordon, the woman who becomes Batgirl,
Mhm.
and she's like 7.
Yeah.
So like we have a concept of where we are in the timeline, which the movies don't always give us a reference to like
Yeah, they could take place at any point.
at any point. Which explains why, for instance, why there's no Robin. If if Barbara Gordon is 7, then then it's too early for Dick Grayson to be around yet.
Something I found extremely interesting was Batman is not a detective.
Yeah,
He doesn't
that's
consider himself a detective.
That's a weird twist because Batman's a detective.
Yeah, like, he's the greatest detective.
Yeah,
That's
that's his superpower. He's a ninja and he's a detective. But the detective comes first.
Yeah, Commissioner Gordon and someone else like, you're not really a very good detective.
No.
And then he himself had a moment where like, I didn't think I had to be a detective while I was doing this.
Yeah, I thought that I would become a symbol. I thought I would strike fear into criminals' hearts. I didn't think I'd have to like solve mysteries.
Yeah, so
I'm like, that's weird.
I find it interesting that he's not there yet. So I guess this is probably like this is early in the Batman.
I mean, I guess so, but you're also just sort of changing the Batman story, period. Because I mean, in a lot of ways, Batman's always been a detective. Like that's where his superpower start. Like superpower, but his ability to profile, to find clues, to put clues together, to figure out what's going on is Batman's superpower. The fighting abilities are something he picks up so that he doesn't, like, he goes looking to learn how to fight so that he doesn't get killed while he's investigating things. Or at least that's the classic story that I'm used to. And so this idea that he's like learning how to be a detective is very different.
I guess and there has been saying like the Batman Begins movie, like you see him training to be a physical fighter, but not necessarily training to figure things out.
Yeah, because he's already I'm trying to remember the movies.
And he figured out who the. Actually, I can't remember if he figured out or if Crane just reveals himself. But either way.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways.
So I can buy that he trained first on just, I find bad guy, I beat up bad guy. But now, like, there's a mystery afoot. And like, I gotta use my brain. Speaking of using brain, there's one moment that I had
I'm not okay with. I am not. That is some bullshit. And I'm not all right with it.
It's New Year's. Or do you want to explain it?
Sure, fine. So, throughout this, Selina Kyle and Bruce Wayne are dating. Batman and Catwoman are flirting and chasing each other around and making sexual innuendos. And when you're not really sure if they know who each other is, because there are different points in the story where, like, Batman knows that Selina Kyle is Catwoman, but hasn't revealed himself as Bruce Wayne yet, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, so we are sort of debating while we're watching this, do they know about each other or not? And then they're going on dates, they're doing stuff. It's just sort of like a background story in the rest of the story. And then they're on this yacht at the very end. It's New Year's Eve, and they break up. Selina Kyle dumps Bruce Wayne. And you're still not sure, is she dumping Batman as well, or is she just breaking up with Bruce Wayne? So a couple of minutes later, she's talking to our guy that we think might be our villain.
The son.
Yeah, the son of Falcone. And he sort of makes a pass, a fairly harmless pass, to be honest, at Selina Kyle, and Batman sort of jumps down and in full Batman gear and yells.
Batman jumps
down. Yeah. And yells, "Get away from her," because he thinks he's figured out that this is the murderer. And Selina Kyle looks up and goes, "Bruce!" And it's just such a bullshit moment. Okay, first of all, we've solved that question. They both knew.
She knows.
She knows. He knows. But no way would either of them ever, under any circumstances, out the other one. they're so accustomed to that, of referring to each other as Catwoman or as Batman when they see each other in the suit, that she would never look up and just go, Bruce! Is that Bruce Wayne? So,
Bruce Wayne, orphan billionaire
like,
who lives at this address.
yeah, it was such bullshit. So now of course this guy knows that, and he's like, what do you mean Bruce Wayne? You mean Bruce Wayne? Bruce Wayne is Batman?
I liked how for the rest of that conversation, like, Batman's accused of him, and that guy like, oh, Bruce, you got it all wrong. They just call him Bruce. Like, I'm not going to respect the suit anymore.
It's such a bullshit moment. Like, and I reject the idea. So, I am offended as, I suppose as a woman I am offended because this movie has literally no women in it. I mean, it's got wives and it's got daughters, but it's got no female characters that are involved in the story.
Outside of
Their relationships to men who are involved with the story, except for Catwoman. Catwoman is definitely, she's, she is her own, her own force to be reckoned with.
A major character. And
she's the one who finds Falcone's money. She's the one who leads Batman. Anyways. So, the idea that we can blame this rookie frickin' mistake on the one female character, it's such an Adam and Eve moment. Just like let's blame it on the woman. Like, what the hell was that?
Yeah. I guess they just wanted I felt like they wanted some cheap tension. Like, oh no, Batman got outed.
Yeah.
But for me, when that happens, that was, oh, that guy's going to die.
Yeah, that guy's fucked. Yeah. He's like a red shirt in Star Trek kind of moment.
You just signed his death warrant.
But it was just such, I can see Alfred outing Bruce before I can see, Catwoman doing it.
Yeah. It's very out of character.
It was just dumb.
And then, like, every time Batman shows up, are you just going to call him Bruce?
Well, all right then. But whatever, that happened.
Yeah. And you knew immediately, oh, that guy can't know that he's going to die.
Yeah.
And then, like, 2 minutes later, that guy's dead.
Yep. In theory. I'm still banking on, So now, if I'm right, he just hasn't outed Bruce Wayne because he'd have to come back from he'd have to out himself as not being dead in order to out Bruce Wayne. So, but I suppose we'll see.
Yeah, the movie sort of ends, and the whole thing with the Joker, to me, it felt like the Joker was there just to be there. Like, it's a Batman movie, you gotta have the Joker in it. He doesn't really...
I think it's a nice little, twist in there. Because that fits for the Joker. That he would become upset. What do you mean there's another maniac out there killing people that my man, Batman is hunting down? That very much fits with Joker's character.
That's fair.
Yeah, so that the idea that he would break out of Arkham specifically to try and hunt down the Holiday, fits. But yeah, it definitely feels a little gratuitous as well. I
guess, like, the performance was awesome. And there's a fun fight scene on the plane with the Joker.
Yeah.
But as for, like, I'm more invested in the mystery. And you pretty much know immediately that Joker is not Holiday.
Yeah, that's true. You do, because you see things that Batman doesn't see. So it's
almost like we know more than the characters do to a point. Like, we know more than Batman does, and, like, as an audience, like, we know Joker is not the Holiday Killer.
Yeah.
Which for me is like, okay, get him out of the way. I don't care.
Yeah. So
there is a scene after the credits.
Oh yeah, right. Which connects to the very first scene in the movie.
Falcone apparently wants Batman to use the Wayne.
Wants Bruce Wayne.
Oh man. I pulled a Selena.
Yeah, he wants Bruce Wayne to
use the Wayne Foundation to
launder money.
For the mob. And Batman's like, no. Answer's still no. And then
Yeah.
Falcone's associate is introduced, shakes hand with Bruce, and some little vines come out.
Poison Ivy.
Who can manipulate people through pheromones.
Yep.
So I'm guessing the idea is like manipulate Bruce or
or
some
something
way.
like that. So we've got to be pretty early in her timeline as well, because she's not wearing a mask or anything. I mean, she's got a low hat on or whatever. But Bruce Wayne, I'm guessing that in this story, that is the first meeting between Bruce Wayne and
It would
Poison
make
Ivy.
sense if you didn't recognize her.
Yeah, because Falcone and Poison Ivy are not friends later in life. They're not copacetic. So, the idea that he would have her on his arm, this must be very early in her timeline.
Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah.
Mystery's not solved. Batman decides he should work harder since he let
let that kid down.
Yeah.
And kid's kind of a
he was
loose
an
term.
adult.
Yeah, he was an adult. He was in his 30s,
He
whatever.
was supposed to protect that man, but instead he accused him and let him die.
Right, yep.
So Batman vows to work harder. Harvey, Gordon, Batman still working on the mystery. Now we have Poison Ivy in the picture.
Yeah. So we're going to watch the next one.
I still think it's the wife.
I think it's the wife with Falcone's son.
I guess we'll find out.
Yep.
Thanks for listening, watching, all that junk. And we'll see you next time.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.